So understand this, you will never have what you need if you keep spending everything that you have on just everything that you want. So we have to change the way that we think if we ever want to get wealthy, if we ever want to succeed in life. We have to stop getting out here and spending everything that we have just on everything that's trendy. So when you think about it, you jump on TikTok, you jump on Facebook, you jump on Amazon, you jump on all of these different sites. Everything is always pushing you to just spend. Everybody wants your money, but your money that you have today is the money that will take care of you when you get older. And I think a lot of times we just don't understand that we will get older one day. I've done a video, one of my previous videos, just talking about investing, because when you think about it, there's a lot of people who get so comfortable in saving. But like I always say, saving will never beat inflation. So you can save, but inflation is always jumping up, and the best way to go about life is to start making your money work for you. So you have to start thinking of, how can I make my money make more money for me? And I know I keep saying it, but there's a lot of people that don't pay attention to stuff like this, and when it comes down to it, you are always struggling. Like, we can't continue to get out here and try to stay in all the latest fashions, having all the newest cars. Sometimes we go out and we do things like buying the newest car every year. Every time it comes out, we gotta have the newest one. And so, the problem with that is that you never think about the future, but the future is always coming. And so, as you think about your own life, you never expected to be at the age that you are right now. You probably, you could have pictured yourself being here, but you really didn't prepare for the age that you are now. And so you have to start thinking that, one day it's all gonna come back and catch up with you. Start planning out your future today. And it's not something that I want to say that is trying to pump fear in somebody, but it's just the reality. Like, we are getting older. The biggest part about it is you can have things, but find a way to not get so caught up in the trendy things. Because, like, what I said, I think in one of my other videos, the biggest excitement that we have is the thought of purchasing something. When we actually get it, the whole thrill, the whole excitement is just gone. And we do that time and time again. Think about it. You got so much stuff in your garage. You got so much stuff in your basement. You got things in your house that you don't even have room for, and you continue to just buy more. Like, we have to stop thinking so much about, just trying to keep up with all the latest trends and stuff. Everything that popping on TikTok, everything that's popping on Facebook, everything that's popping in all of these other areas. Like, we have to understand that we can't afford all of that. So here's a story that stuck out to me. I know, we kind of hanging around a few different families and stuff. And so, we were looking for something to do. A friend of mine, him and his family, when we asked, hey, let's go out and grab something to eat, so everybody was agreeing to it. We were like, man, let's go out and get something to eat. Everybody was agreeing to it. I remember the friend of mine was like, man, yeah, man, I would love to go out, but we just don't have it in the budget. In my mind, just being the type of person I am, I went to my wife and was like, hey, you mind if we pitch in or something with this guy and him and his family, so they can go out and enjoy the experience with us? And so I remember doing that probably a numerous amounts of times, like at least twice, right? He never took me up on the offer, but I remember one day he pulled me to the side and said, man, Damien, let me talk to you real quick. I'm like, yeah. And he said, man, so when I tell you that I don't have it in the budget, it don't mean that I don't have it. He was like, I just rather not spend my money on it, right? He said, I wouldn't spend my money on it, and I wouldn't spend your money on it. And so I'm like, man, okay, man, that's kind of solid. Okay, I understand now. He just didn't budget for it. Well, when I finally got a chance to get around him a little more and I seen his house, I'm like, man, he can put probably 2 or 3 of my houses inside of his house and stuff. And then he's talking about he didn't have it in the budget to be able to do, X, Y, Z. And what I realized was, not that this guy just didn't have the money to be able to do it, but he just didn't put his money toward that type of thing at the moment. So sometimes you have to make those sacrifices. this friend that I talk about, you know, he's pretty good, you know, when it comes to life or whatnot. And so, yeah, you know, I think that just helped me to prioritize a lot better. And it didn't sink in immediately, but, you know, after time of being around this person, I just felt like, you know, like I started to see why things were the way that they were. And so, yeah, so I just think that we have to go about life thinking through things like that. You know, just because somebody else does it doesn't mean that we have to do it. And sometimes after that feeling's gone, you know, you can still enjoy life. You can still do the things that you need to do or the things that you want to do in some cases. But you also just have to keep in your mind that, you know, I only have a certain amount of money for this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just start off trying to help yourself budget, try to help yourself live on something tight, you know. And I think sometimes we look at that, a budget, when you think of budget, sometimes we think of a budget as being like handcuffs, but it really is freedom to life, because as you start to understand that you just can't do everything, you know, think about, you know, your diet and stuff, right? So when you think of your diet, it's not bad to eat bad things. Sometimes you can have a cookie, you can have, you know, some cake, you can have some ice cream, you can have some pizza, you can have some of this stuff. But the thing is that you don't want to spend your whole life just eating bad stuff, because if you eat bad stuff all the time, then it's going to catch up with you. But if you consistently do good things and, you know, start eating good, eating better and stuff, then when it's time to get out here and splurge, you can do that without a guilty conscience, because you know you have done what it takes to, you know, get your weight down or maintain your weight. And so if you equate that to your budget, you only have so much money to be able to do the things that you want to do, right? And so when it's time to be able to spend your money on the things that you need, you will have money to be able to do that. But I know, you know, when you think about just our lifestyle and you think about Americans, like Americans, we are so far in debt, and you know, we'll never be able to get out of that. So you are always spending your money on things that you have to spend it on versus things that you need to spend it on or want to. And when you think about it, the average American does not have $500 in the case of some sort of an emergency. And it's bad because most of us as Americans have families. And so if you have a whole family and you only have a need for $500 and you can't feel that, that's a problem. Like, you have to be able to set money to the side in case of worst case scenarios, because worst case scenarios always happen. So anyway, like, if you find this video helpful, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to it. And anyway, I'm Damien, and until the next video, I'm out. Peace.